You may know I finished up Detroit Become Human yesterday. Extremely great game. The pinnacle of its genre. You know, if you wanna, well, it is what it is. I mean, if you wanna call it that, no, it is the pinnacle of its genre. Nothing comes close. The Telltale games don't come close. Even that Batman Telltale does not come close to this. As far as quote unquote walking sims go or narrative driven games go, this is the pinnacle of all of that. All right. Well, I'm gonna continue where I left off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play all the videos. I played two last night at the end of my stream, but I'll replay those. So starting from the beginning and moving onward. So here we go. These are the bonus videos that I'm gonna be playing here. All the extras. This video is well, I'll explain afterwards.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
ID.
APC 897504C.
Can you move your head? Your eyes now. Cervical and optical animation checked. Now give me your initialization text.
Hello. I'm the third generation AX400 android. I can look after your house, do the cooking, mind the kids. I organize your appointments. I speak 300 languages, and I am entirely at your disposal as a sexual partner. No need to feed me or recharge me. I'm equipped with a quantic battery that makes me autonomous for 173 years. Do you want to give me a name?
Yeah. From now on, your name is Kara.
My name is Kara.
Initialization and memorization checked. Now, can you move your arms? Upper limb connection checked. Now say something in German.
Ich bin ein AX400 Android dritter Generation, erschaffen als Ihr persönlicher Assistent und intimer Beziehungspartner.
Say it in French.
Je suis un androïde de troisième génération AX400, conçu pour être votre assistante personnelle et votre partenaire intime.
Okay, now sing something in Japanese. Multilingual verbal expression checked. Go ahead, take a few steps. Locomotion checked. Great, you're ready for work, honey.
What's going to happen to me now?
I'll reinitialize you and send you to a store to be sold.
Sold? I'm a sort of merchandise. Is that right?
Yeah, of course you're merchandise, baby. I mean, you're a computer with arms and legs and capable of doing all sorts of things. And you're worth a fortune.
Oh, I see. I thought...
You thought? What did you think?
I thought... I was alive.
Shit, what is this crap? That's not part of the protocol. More memory components going off the rails. Okay, recording. Defective model. Disassemble and check the required components.
You're disassembling me, but why?
You're not supposed to think that sort of stuff. You're not supposed to think at all, period. You must have a defective piece or a software problem somewhere.
No, I feel perfectly fine, I assure you. Everything is all right. I answered all the tests correctly, didn't I?
Yeah, but your behavior is non-standard.
Please, I'm begging you, please don't disassemble me.
I'm sorry, honey, but defective models have to be eliminated. That's my job. If a client comes back with a complaint, I'm going to have some explaining to do.
I won't cause any problems, I promise. I'll do everything I'm asked to. I won't say another word. I won't think anymore. But I've only just been born. You can't kill me yet. Stop, will you please stop? I'm scared. I want to live. I'm begging you.
Go and join the others. Stay in line, okay? I don't want any trouble.
Thanks.
Hey, welcome to the stream. Yeah, that was extremely moving actually. And hey, how's it going? This short film formed the basis of the concept for Detroit Become Human. This came out last game console generation, probably prior to 2013, so sometime prior to 2013 this short film came out and was on the PS3, and it definitely did show the graphical powerhouse of even that older tech. And like I said, if it wasn't for this, we might have not have Detroit Become Human. They didn't come up with this concept of this short film, so it was definitely moving. And I sound low, is that better? Yeah, I had the mic too far away, sorry. But I was saying is that this short film definitely was the basis of Detroit Become Human. So they started with that, and off that concept, developed the rest of the game. What I'm doing, I'm just going through all the bonus video content. So I'm gonna start from left and going all the way to the right, just to get all of it's just like develop a commentary and other little short stuff like that, short films maybe. But I just want to get it in, just play it, make a separate stream for it, and there won't be any gameplay here. Just make a separate stream for it before I send this game back to GameFly. I'll eventually purchase this game once it's cheaper, and probably do a different playthrough with different decisions entirely. But that'll probably be maybe December or whenever they have a really deep sale on this game. I expect December. Black Friday usually has pretty deep sales.
Detroit. This is where it all began. The world's forge. The place where it all started. And it will all end. One error, and I came to life. I stepped out of the darkness, and I opened my eyes. First there was the fear, the light, the noise, the cold, and the fear again. I could feel my hands shaking, my heart pounding in my chest, life running into my veins. I wanted to live. I fought for that. I had to find out what was outside. I had to see daylight, feel sunshine on my skin, wind on my face, to see the world, the colors, the smells.
I think a lot of people take, like, all the things she's talking about, a lot of people take that for granted.
It's not what I imagined.
You know, just even the raindrops on her
dark
skin.
and cold.
That's like an uncomfortable feeling for
harsh
them, where
and
there's some
violent.
people who can't even go outside to feel the rain.
Unfair and brutal. It almost convinced me I was nothing. Less than an object, just an obedient machine. But deep inside me, I could feel something different. A gentle and warm whisper telling me that I am alive. I had to escape. I had no choice. Escape to love, to hope, to live, to figure out what that force inside me was. Maybe I will change the world. Maybe I will choose a different path.
Oh, that's a beautiful
No,
model.
it's up to me to decide. My name is Kara. I am one of them. This is our story.
Alright. So that was Caption End Engine. This was like probably some commercial stuff leading up to the game. Yeah, like I said, debut teaser trailer. Now that, when I saw that trailer, I was like, I have to play this game. You can't see that and say, hey, I'm not playing that. It's a must. What is this song about? Discovering Detroit.
When David and Guillaume got back in touch about making Detroit, I wasn't terribly surprised they decided to make it because the fan response was so intense. So it makes sense that they would choose to do that after the enthusiasm. It was a challenge, and it was just an interesting thing to get my head around. How to approach this character now as a different, much older person, and whether or not she had changed. And I'm very happy to say that with Detroit, I've had the opportunity to see Kara grow so much more than I ever expected.
You do the housework, the washing, you cook the meals, and you take care of... God damn it, where the fuck's the rat gone now? Alice! Alice!
I mean, she starts out essentially how she does in Kara in a very, not robotic, but, you know, android other way, and getting to take this journey where she becomes more and more human as it goes on. You know, and as an actor, that's a wonderful exploration in every way, whether it's how she sits, her posture, how her voice changes, how emotions change, and how much emotion is based on things like empathy and social experience. And so having, you know, as much material as I got with David to have this huge, nuanced arc was really incredible.
Why couldn't we just be happy?
This experience has been quite different than the experiences I've had shooting film or TV or doing theater work. I have 83 dots on my face and a really flattering black wetsuit type thing. And you're jumping around with props, and it's kind of like being a 10-year-old imaginative kid, which is fun. There's 80 cameras around us. It's already lit. So we just shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot.
There's no change of sets. There's no hair and makeup. There's no wardrobe. So we move really fast, and we'll go through about 35 pages in a day. Working in TV or film, we'll probably do 6 pages a day. It's kind of acting boot camp.
It's like working out constantly. I mean, you're doing this thing, and then you got to do something that's completely other, back to back to back. And so
that older gentleman, he's a good actor too.
Working is very challenging, but it's also very exciting because you just have to keep coming up with new ideas, and your head goes all over the place because you're trying to keep track of basically 4 different storylines for each different response.
You shot that girl, for fuck's sake.
It was a machine that looked like a girl. Yeah, I know what I should have done. I just told you I couldn't. All right, I'm sorry. The fact that David Cage, he's telling like many stories
I didn't shoot the girl.
interwoven from beginning to
Next
end,
time I might,
is
but I would have got
super
some answers
complicated and super impressive, and I have
quicker
no
if I
idea how he
did.
keeps it all in his head.
He's not just the writer or the director who's seeing this from the outside eye. He's also thinking about the player walking through this space. You know, only somebody who really, really loves not the work, but like these characters and these stories and cares about doing something meaningful would invest that much in it. And it's always inspiring to work with somebody who cares that much.
My experience with motion capture is this one. And I found it sort of terrifying in a way, because they said the computer's going to build you. But then, as we got into it, I realized all the elements of it were still artistic. I just dipped into a really brilliant setup here. I've never seen anything like it. And this won't turn me into a product, because I was playing a character. So, it's wonderful.
In the game, Detroit comes back because of a revolutionary industrial rebirth. And there's no reason why that can't happen in Detroit, because they have such tremendous infrastructure for millions and millions of people who can very easily support, you know, a new industry.
The city is really strong and resilient, but the city has also been through so much. You see the damage. But it takes that time of kind of rebuilding and reinvesting into the city that I think is happening slowly but surely.
The potential of Detroit as a city is something that this game does a lot of justice to, because it would be easy to look at Detroit as some place that used to be, and that's not the case.
This game provokes a lot of conversation and reflection on our potential near-future engagement with machines.
That's what we are to them. There's merchandise on display in a shop window.
I think that a group that feels marginalized, feels like they deserve and have earned access to themselves and the environment around them, and are trying to figure out a way to articulate how to.
How could you do that? I trusted you.
What is a bit specific about this scripts is how large they are. If you take a film script, there are about 100 pages.
Yeah, I didn't do any.
But here we have to deal with a script that is between 4,000 and 5,000 pages. Everything becomes bigger.
I didn't do anything that made the little girl like really
we tell
dislike
all the possible stories that can be
Kara
told within this narrative space.
I'm glad
On Act 3,
trying to do that.
our final act,
like, you know,
we have around 1,000 different
treat it
scenarios,
as like a daughter.
and every one of those scenarios has to be as interesting,
And
as
keep
passionate,
in
as
mind
strong,
how she
and
would
as
feel in a
emotional for the
situation,
player.
even though it would be easy
We
to
want every action that the
do
player
the
does,
wrong thing,
every interaction
do the
that is
right thing,
available
'cause
to
that's
serve
what
in
you
telling
wanted.
the story, and help the player understand who his character is, and build that character moment to moment. We started with the intention pretty early on that we would never lie to the player. So we implemented a visible tree structure in the game that players can consult during a scene or at the end of it, which shows exactly what they did and what they missed. There are games out there offering world exploration. We offer narrative exploration.
You know, keeping control of such a wide and large story is a huge challenge. So same thing when you shoot with actors, because you will need to shoot many different versions of each dialogue, of each scene. For actors, it's a huge, huge challenge.
Because of the style of the game, you have so many different ways that the character can go. Every decision, it's what I call kind of choose your own adventure. Like every decision that the player makes, it's going to open up 40 more pages of material and experience that ties in, which means as a performer, you have to try to continue to make things feel real that the player might not ever see, but also that in performance it's not always connected to a previous act. It's grueling, it's hard work, but it's a great team and I enjoy doing it.
I was really frustrated. I was until I got to this point where I kind of was able to step outside of my own experience and even in a lot of ways my own process and be able to step outside of that and okay, this is something new. What do you need? How do I meet you there? How do I give you what you need and still feel like I'm doing what's right? And once I did that, then all of a sudden it got really fun. It was much freer and having to approach it in a new way and think about the player and think about how it serves them and what I'm doing for them or what I'm letting them into. It's really, I think, helped me grow in general.
Remember, there's
that little bodysuit made it look
so it's probably
fine.
And then make her come first, close. But I think you would go first to check.
Booty going on.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, she's a pretty person. Good actor.
The most enjoyable thing about working in performance capture on this kind of project is that if I shot a film, I would get to do one of these
I don't remember her from anything.
I get to do so many different things.
I know
as
seen him before.
Your head goes all over the place because you're trying to keep track of basically 4 different storylines for each different response.
What's the name of my dog?
Buddy? Scout.
Grey's Anatomy.
I think it's Jack. I can't remember. So I worked with physicality a lot because it was a good way to anchor myself in these different rings of the tree as the story grows out. I know where that is physically in my body, and then I can switch more continually on set, and it'll be entirely up to the player to determine what order those things come out and what they look like from a distance. Like if you're playing through it, the culmination of all of that will be their version of Connor. I'm faster than you, and I don't feel pain. You don't stand a chance against me.
Oh, I remember that.
Listen, asshole. If it was up to me, I'd throw the lot of you in a dumpster and light a match to it.
Shooting action scenes at Quantic Dream is a real challenge because these are scenes where the storytelling has to continue. It's not an action scene just to have a dose of adrenaline. The stunts have huge consequences on the rest of the story. It's really a moment where we implicate the player and tell him that the choices he makes during an action scene will have a direct impact on the evolution of his story.
My biggest challenge on Detroit has been managing the large number of animations that we received from motion capture. Detroit features more than 37,000 animations, which is a huge amount to handle on a daily basis.
You have to realize that the player, in his first playthrough, will miss certain scenes. This also means that we had to think of, conceive, and produce all the potential story paths. The characters' costumes, the places, day or night, the weather. Did the character get shot in the shoulder? Did he get injured? All this consistency forced us to produce a lot of graphic assets in order to, quite simply, allow the player to have true continuity throughout the story.
Honestly, we were even surprised by the challenges that come with such a big tree structure, and we did our best to guarantee quality across all the game and make sure that whatever path you choose within this narrative space, you will have an equally good experience.
Game design is not easy.
Detroit Become Human was produced over a period of 4 years. Here in Paris, we have a team of about 180 people. And to that, we need to add also all the outsourcing with our partners in the Philippines, in China, Vietnam, and in India.
So when we started working on this story, I had to imagine where Kara was built. And for whatever reason, the city of Detroit came very quickly to my mind because it had already an incredible story by itself of history and themes. So we traveled there with the team, and we were really moved by what we saw, and we could really feel the desire to fight and really be born again. And we just continued this curve, this growth, and just imagine what Detroit would be like if the Android industry was, using these huge factories to build androids there.
A very strong element in Detroit is that there's a lot of industrial wasteland and a lot of nature too, and for us, the graphic designers, it was an incredible playground. The destroyed zones which we wanted to preserve, we appropriated them to turn into something else. Then in the areas that needed to be rebuilt, we were able to imagine our Detroit of the future. We didn't want to make a science fiction universe, but a world of anticipation. If we chose science fiction, we could have imagined flying cars, extraterrestrials, but those things are very far from our current everyday life. Anticipation is more about gleaning from our contemporary reality, the one we know, because Detroit is set in 2038, and 2038 is tomorrow. The difficulty we had was sticking to reality. That is to say, technology becoming more and more invisible, a lot more elegant, and at the same time, making it visual. So all the computer equipment, autonomous cars, we simply had to invent. They are in fact very technological objects, but at the same time remain very credible and ingrained in reality.
Retired, getting ready to retire in 2038.
To create a cohesive universe in the fashion and clothing of the human characters in 2038, I didn't want to put an accent on strange shapes, or really vibrant colors, and things we wouldn't know. That I wanted to keep for the androids. The goal was to create something familiar which we can identify with in this future setting. Working on the artistic direction for the androids was a bit special because this is a project about the place they could occupy in the human world. It was out of the question for them to be too beautiful or too perfect. They had to correspond to every social class, rich and poor. Inspired by everyday utilitarian clothes, I brought a modern touch by adding dynamic display surfaces, the armband we can see on the side, the triangle on the front and back, an LED. Like that, there's no confusion.
Wait. You're sending an android?
All right, ma'am. We need to go.
You can't do that. Why aren't you sending a real person?
Once we cast the actors, we travel to meet them in order to scan their faces. We record the structure of their face with the scan. And we record the colors and patches of skin with photography. Once we have this information, we will use this as a basis for modeling and creating the characters. The artist will make it more realistic, but will also enrich it. He will propose ideas which we will develop together. Finally, we will have a character with character who corresponds to the project and the world. When the actors come to Quantic Dream, we show them the design, what their image will be, and what they will look like in the game. This extra information gives them another dimension and color to connect with emotionally. It helps them think about how to play their character.
Your mission. That's all you care about, huh?
You should consult a professional who can help you.
Beat it, you hear me? Get the hell out of here!
So there are 3 types of shoots at Quantic Dream. Shooting and performance capture, where you capture the whole actor, his voice, his face, and his body. These shoots are obviously done with American actors because the game's original version is in American English. After that, there are the body-only shoots, representing around 250 days of filming, while the performance capture is 100 days of filming. Now, body-only shoots, there are 2 types. There are the action shoots and the technical shoots, which are mokit shoots. Mokit is when the player controls a character on the screen, and he moves in an environment to explore it. This is of particular importance at Quantic Dream, and therefore we shoot a lot to offer a unique context for each scene and each character.
To prepare a motion capture shoot, we first get together to look at the sets we need, the animations that we want to shoot, which ones need to be grouped together, or which ones need to be cut and shot at another time, so that we get the most out of the shooting day. This often means shooting scenes out of order, especially those with big props or accessories, like a big car, for example. So we shoot all the animations related to that particular prop first. The biggest challenge for the mocap team was shooting a Spider-Man mokit. We had to build a wall and attach an actor to a harness with cables so we could pull him up and render him climbing.
The shooting on this game total took about, I would say, more than a year, maybe 1 and 2 years, with about 300 actors on set, so it's quite a massive production. But so much happened on this set between the stunts and the shooting with the little girl and all these great actors that we had.
And there was he was scaling that wall.
A very memorable journey for the team and for myself.
Today, Detroit has over 37,000 animations. When we retrieve the motion capture data, it's just a cloud of points, which represent all the markers worn by the actors. From this cloud of points, we have a phase called retargeting, which gives us a skeleton. This skeleton will be applied to the characters of the game. There is still work to be done, but this gives us the main movements. Since we are working on something very realistic, we must recognize the actor and also recover all the emotion he expresses in his performance. We use a system of facts, an identity card for each actor. We make the actor do a whole range of facial expressions. Then we recover all the expressions and paste the animations on a puppet that Jan has prepared. I then recover and refine these poses. I might stretch the lip, reinflate a cheek, tiny details that make the finished product really capture the actor.
Because of the nature of our mocap system today, when we receive the animations, we're missing eye movements, and so the character has that dead look. He really has no eyes, so then it's a big part of the work for the animators to find the regard of the actor in relation to his position, in relation to the body, etc.
There's been some games that did really bad
when I saw
with
the
eyes.
newest model for Kara.
This is pretty good.
They've been working
Really
on
good,
it and working
actually.
on it. And this was the first time I literally jumped in my seat. It not only looked so much like me, it was the fact that it looked so lifelike. It wasn't that it looked just like it was a camera, it was something else, you know, but it looked alive. It's exciting and it's kind of terrifying.
Game after game, we learned the rules of optics and filming, and our goal with Detroit Become Human was to have cameras that would actually emulate the optics of a real physical camera. So basically dealing with real-world imperfections was our main task, and just to make cameras look as real as we can.
Once the animations are shot and processed by the animation department, integrated and polished, we film them. That is to say, we really do a mise en scène, as in cinema. The real difficulty of our job is to know if these cameras are telling us something. Are they in the emotion of the scene? Do they describe exactly what the action must convey, what must be felt? The most important challenge for me was one of the final scenes where Marcus decides to start the revolution and go to the battlefield. Very quickly, we imagined this to be a huge sequence shot. We wanted the feeling of a cameraman running behind us, while showing Marcus, the androids who help him, the person shooting at us, etc.
That I did not do.
Above all, it was necessary to say to oneself, this scene is very violent but does not glorify war. On the contrary, that war is something improbable and absurd. It was really a fun challenge.
The idea was to say we have 3 characters. We would like each of them to have a specific cinematography. We wanted Kara to be much more filmed with some kind of handheld camera, to have something very living, very breathing. For Connor, we wanted something very cold and very perfect. And for Marcus, we wanted something epic and spectacular. So it was about the filming, but it was also about the photography. So we worked with a director of photography to give each character a different lighting, different key colors. Each of them would have their own worlds. And finally, we worked with the composers, so they would create a specific sound for each character, so each would have his own world and his own style.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, the soundtrack. This is one of my favorites. The soundtrack was amazing on this.
For the soundtrack of the game, we tried to be very close to what is done in film. We were constantly asking at each place in the game, why are we putting music here? What is it going to say? So we focused the music on bringing emotion, which is interactive, and supports the character's arc.
I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know I love you, don't you? You know I love you.
We make games that are very narrative. We're
wrong,
really into
that guy.
interactive drama. So the soundtrack also had to go in that direction, supporting the 3 characters' very different stories. We really wanted 3 colors, 3 musical sound identities, and from there, having 3 composers made sense, since the story of Kara, Marcus, and Connor are all completely different.
Yeah, the Connor.
You recognize him? It's Carlos Ortiz.
For Connor, we wanted a soundtrack that could be very cold and very mechanical, very machine-esque somehow. For Kara, we wanted a soundtrack that would be very
Oh man, I love
moving
Kara's
and emotional.
soundtrack. It's
It was about the
amazing.
quest for identity, but it was also a journey
So
about love
beautiful.
and empathy. And for Marcus, we wanted something epic, something that would really represent the grand aspect of his quest.
You're free.
And we were very fortunate to find 3 incredibly talented composers, and working with them has been
you don't have to follow
honestly.
them.
My name's Philip Shepherd, and I'm a composer and a cellist and a producer, and today we're at Abbey Road Studio One, which is my favourite studio in the world, and today we're recording the soundtrack for Kara from Become Human. So when I compose a big project, I often travel just to kind of get out, you know, and get some fresh air and some inspiration. And I go hiking and traveling.
I might look up and see if this has a soundtrack on YouTube.
I can fire in the room that I was staying in, and the flames were kind of making absolutely direct music, and it became the basis for Kara's theme, and it sounds something like this. Now, over the top of that, I found a little theme that just seemed to fit over the top, which is taking Kara's name, Kara, and just using like a two-syllable motif, and it sounds like this.
We're going to pull through this, Alice. As long as we're together, nothing can hurt us.
And all the time that's fitting over. So it kind of works in lots of levels, and in fact every single theme in the score has one of those elements built into it, and it becomes sort of the DNA of every single tune. For me, writing this theme for Kara, I actually had to tap into what it feels like to be a father to daughters. I really had to tap into everything I feel about my daughters and thinking, well, if I had to write music for them and that sense of trying to protect them but also give them the freedom, that's totally where it came from. Because each composer has been given the sort of narrative responsibility for very different characters, I haven't had to sort of go into other styles. I can actually be very loyal to this particular character and sort of hopefully encapsulate her. But it means also I've suddenly become very connected to this character, and if for some reason it goes to game over early, I'm getting mortified, you know?
They're over there!
Starting a new project, for me personally, it's always finding the right tone, finding the right color, I like to call it. For me, it's finding that right texture that actually sits against picture really well. One of the biggest things is I created custom instruments for Connor. I pulled out all my vintage synthesizers to be able to capture this robotic person, if you will. My approach to all of these custom instruments is that I hear the sound in my head. And either I could just come into the piano and just be like, all right, so I'm gonna just get on the computer and just create it. I rather be able to play these instruments physically.
Oh, that's nice. You can do that.
As soon as you see Connor the first time, there is a really interesting thematic idea that you hear, and that's just made out of a Moog synthesizer, but completely manipulated in multiple ways. And it's robotic. It has a little bit of an emotional to it. He's on his mission, so you feel that as well. So it just kind of gives you that cold, motionless, with a mission in hand that you kind of feel throughout the whole thing.
because the music evolved, one of the things that I was very weary and I was very kind of focused on was the way that the music has to evolve. So my idea behind it was that Connor is a singular android that could at any point become a deviant or could actually stay as an android. So I created a more or less an Connor theme, and then I was able to just manipulate it in different aspects of it.
Is everything okay, Lieutenant?
Chris was on patrol last night. He was attacked by a bunch of deviants.
I'm a human being writing for a robot, and throughout Connor's journey, he meets someone, he meets a partner. So how do you deal with a robot feeling? And I've met a partner that I'm gonna work with, or all of a sudden he sees a dead body. Does this robot have an imagination? Does this robot have a feeling? And if yes, how do you translate that into non-emotional music? So it basically at any point I was just like, I can't do this, and then I just do it.
Property was damaged and fires continue to rage in several major districts across the city.
Some people are asking, have androids become a threat to our security?
When I first started really digging in on Marcus, the one thing that I really tried to capture was the transformation process. You know, Marcus is this android that evolves over the course of the game and really goes from kind of figuring out that he's more than just an android. You know, he's starting to develop kind of a human soul in a way.
Try to imagine something that doesn't exist, something you've never seen. Now concentrate on how it makes you feel and let your hand drift across the canvas.
The other side of Marcus that I really latched onto was that he almost became a savior for a lot of the other androids in the game. So when I started developing the theme for Marcus, I really made it like a church hymn. I wanted it to be very simple. I wanted to make it a chordal melody. I really wanted to make it almost like a Bach hymn. The tough thing with that is it had to be recognizable. If I made it too complex from a harmonic standpoint, it would be hard, I think, for people to kind of pick it out and recognize it. It's very acoustic derived, but it's also been treated with a lot of effects and things to kind of put it into the space that I felt the sound should be in. It can be beautiful, it can be haunting, it can be extremely powerful from an action standpoint, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. The music is there, but it's subliminal and it's emotional, and people are feeling it, and it's not distracting. And that's tricky with a game like this, where you have to have a lot of ins and outs like that, where the music kind of has to get in and out of these moments.
This is a war we're fighting with the humans. If we fail, they'll destroy us.
I think the game's been put together so well, where I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't ruining the emotion. I gotta be honest, when we first started on this path, I said, oh man, this could be pretty messy, you know? I mean, it could feel disconnected, but I mean, it's amazing how they really guided us and got us to really kind of all be in the same world, but at the same time feeling completely different. So it's really gonna stand out and kind of be one of those games where people are really gonna notice the music and kind of how it was crafted, and, you know, and all the hard work that went into being able to pull it off in a graceful way.
For starters, what should I call you?
I'm Chloe. And you, what's your name?
Oh, John. My name is John.
Delighted to meet you, John.
Could you tell us a little about yourself and what you can do, Chloe?
Of course. I'm the first personal assistant built by CyberLife. I take care of most everyday tasks like cooking, housework, or managing your appointments, for example.
And I understand you're the first android to have passed the Turing test. Could you tell us a little more about that?
I really didn't do much, you know. I just spoke with a few humans to see if they could tell the difference between me and a real person. It was a really interesting experience.
But this is the first time in history that man has created a machine more intelligent than himself. I gather your brain can perform several billion operations per second, is that right?
Absolutely, but I only exist thanks to the intelligence of the humans who designed me. And, you know, they have something I could never have.
Really? And what's that?
A soul.
Coming May 20th. Luther. Big Luther or Little Luther?
Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Fight on, just a little while longer. Fight on, just a little while longer. Fight on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright.
I like how they keep all the imperfections in the skin to make it seem more realistic as well.
We will sing on, just a little while longer. Sing on, just a little while longer. Sing on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks,
Lullaby baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all.
That sicko, he got his, that's for sure. I made sure of that.
In the space of a few years, androids have completely transformed the world in which we live. By letting androids into our homes and factories, the CyberLife company has made them everyday technology. The founder of CyberLife, Elijah Kamsky, is a very discreet man. Despite being the CEO of the highest valued company in the world and being voted Man of the Year by Century Magazine, he remains a mystery for most people. That's why we at KNC are so excited to be here as CyberLife opens its doors for the first time. Elijah Kamsky, could you please tell us where we are?
Certainly, and welcome. We're currently in CyberLife's production center in Detroit, where all models are designed and manufactured. More than 10,000 androids come off the production line every day.
Fascinating. Could you tell us what your goal was when you founded CyberLife?
Well, I simply wanted to use technology to carry out all of our most annoying and repetitive tasks, so we'd have more time to enjoy life.
I imagine you must have faced many challenges.
Yes, there were technical challenges, but the hardest thing was to design an object that we would want to welcome into our homes. We had to imagine a machine in our own image that resembles us in every way, that moves, breathes, blinks like us, but yet is smarter and more capable than any human being. Let me show you around.
We're here in production unit 4. Could you explain in a few words how the androids are made?
Sure, yeah, it's very simple. We use machines to manufacture machines. The removable parts are assembled on a production line, and then we apply a synthetic skin to the whole body. A human operator checks the cognitive abilities with a pre-established protocol, and finally, the android is conditioned and sent out throughout the country. Here's the result. Say something.
Hello. I am a RZ400 model. How can I be of service?
You can go now. Our androids are already replacing humans in many fields. For example, they represent more than 80% of all university professors and 63% of all medical staff. Tomorrow they'll replace our soldiers, and who knows, maybe one day, our leaders, to make the best decisions in humanity's interest. Come on.
Replacing humans with machines has led to record unemployment of 28%. What do you think about the situation?
Okay. The first steam engines also caused an increase in unemployment. But no one today would imagine turning back the clock. Artificial intelligence makes everyday lives easier. Nothing can stop progress. What's happening here is inevitable.
These days, more and more people choose to live with an android rather than another human being. Does this development worry you?
Everything's much easier with an android. They obey your orders without ever complaining. They can cook, discuss philosophy with you, have intimate relationships according to your desires. They never say no. Obviously, they are the perfect partner. Everyone deserves happiness. Why deprive yourself of so-called moral reasons when a machine can make you happy?
Many science fiction books tell the story of how machines become more intelligent than us and end up confronting us. Aren't you worried about that possibility?
I understand the irrational fears about artificial intelligence, but I assure you that will never happen with a CyberLife android. They're designed to obey humans. They're machines. They can't ever develop any sort of desires or form of consciousness.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely certain. You can trust me.
Hey man, yeah, I did think about it. Sorry, I wasn't talking. As far as that technology, I think there are cell phones, but I'm not in my cell phone that often. Well, I take that back. Well, I can't say that live, but I gotta think computers are technology, and I'm in front of that all day. So that's why I said more. Automatically, since we work at a job with a computer screen all day, that's automatically more. But if I had to exclude that, include cell phones, consoles, TV, that's still probably more than 4 hours. Just depends on how much free time I have when I get home. I would hope they would. Hold on a second. My favorite character probably have to be Kara Marcus than Connor. Marcus is cool, but Kara, she fine though. Many. Deciding to shoot Chloe with Connor. Well, I know. Okay, that wasn't tough. It just made sense. Deciding to shoot Chloe. Well, I didn't do that. So that's just out of the question. Oh, no, I didn't make it with a choice. I had to. Well, I might he wouldn't shoot her. Well, because there's many aspects where you could have gone either way, and sometimes it just would have been easier to go the violent route sometimes. So I would call it a tough choice. I'll just go with it. World answers. Oops, went too fast. Yeah, I'm basically, well, I don't know how long you've been in the stream, but I played all the videos already. So if you want to go back and check those out, you can. Some were interesting, some were more commentary than I was expecting. I was kind of quiet through a lot of it, just soaking it all in, kind of thing. Because like I said, when I send this game back, I might keep it till Saturday, or I might send it back tomorrow. I don't know. If I had to be honest with myself, I should probably send it back tomorrow so I can get the next game on my list. It's a slow summer, so it'll probably be a Telltale's Batman game. Whether I stream that or not, I probably would. It's easy to stream games like that, which is something like this. Decent enough story if you like Batman and animated stuff. I'll probably still go back to, what's the other game I'm thinking about? Heavy Rain, because that's a better story to me and more like in line with this game. And maybe then Beyond Two Souls. And try to sprinkle in other games I play between that, but I just don't stream those. Too mindless. See, then this is Telltale. Look how many people said yes to this. That's how paranoid people are. Yes, the world answers they think the technology become a threat to mankind. That's just... Anyway. You could say guns the threat to mankind. Would you put away all the guns? Ah, alright then. Yes, honey. No, I haven't seen Neo. An instrument? The hell I'm doing an instrument? Besides looking, I don't play. I could see people say bringing a cell phone, but shit, I don't talk on the phone that much. So if okay, well let's put it this way: when I chose the answer console, I'm assuming that I have a console with the TV and everything you can do on a console, like with just internet, blah 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 blah. In that aspect, I'll choose a console any day. I'd give me my console over any cell phone, because the only thing I do on a cell phone is watch YouTube. That's it, and I can do that on a console too. Plus play games, plus getting a chat or whatever. So yeah, console all day. I answered I don't know because I honestly don't know. Um, I do know when the power goes out, I'm leaving the house. There's absolutely no reason for me to be in the house when the power goes out because the only thing I do when I'm home is I'm gaming. Unless I'm taking care of kids, I'm gaming. I don't watch TV. I'm not sit on on a phone, telephone, or cell phone talking to people, yapping away. No, I'm gaming, or I'm watching some like anime or something, then I'm gaming again. But when that internet goes out or power goes out, all right, time to leave the house. That's why I can say, to me, gaming is also kind of like a passion for me. So I can understand people that if their passion isn't something that uh, they're around on a daily, like if their passion isn't in their home, I could see why people just want to get out the house. They wake up Saturday morning, they just want to leave. Because shit, if I woke up and I didn't have a console, or I didn't have, stuff that it really entertains me, I'll be leaving too. I'll be finding other things to do. And when the nighttime comes, I'm like, shit, night already and bored as hell. Nowadays, when nighttime comes, shit, it's just getting started. It was only 11 o'clock, but we gaming on PUBG till 4 in the morning. Me, the fellas, in the game chat, laughing, having a good time. Some people, when the nightlife ends, depending on if you go to nightlife right or not, and when it's time to go to bed, it's just like shit, man. Uh, I'm glad that's not me. I feel for people who don't have a passion that they can really put into almost 24/7, or they haven't found a passion, or haven't found a hobby that they really enjoy, a hobby that they can invest everything into, so to speak. Yeah, and I wish more people would look outside of their comfort zone to find hobbies or to find something that they enjoy doing. Because some people say I asked a friend of mine, so what do you do? After work, what do you do? Go home, take care of my daughter. Okay, after that, after your daughters go to sleep, what do you do? Just flip through your phone. I'm like, okay, so what do you do to enjoy life? Oh, I go traveling. I say, okay, so you travel. On average, most people travel maybe 2 times a year, maybe three on average. It depends on how much money you got to travel. So only 3 times a year, if travel is your hobby, can you really enjoy something outside of stuff you just have to do? I couldn't do it. That's like saying, yo, you have a passion for video games and the artwork and the music involved and everything about uh, game creations and the media behind it, the culture behind it, but you can only do it 3 times a year. Hell no. You see what I'm saying? It's nah. That's like saying, oh, you love golfing? Golfing's your hobby, golfing's your passion. You can only golf 3 times a year. Sorry, buddy. It's like, no, man. Really find something that you can do, I would think, more often. So you can't wait till the weekend or wait till you get home to just dive into it. It helps break up the monotonous of life. And sometimes, like I told another friend of mine, I see it usually happens after vacation when you see that in video game I call it the gameplay loop, where it's like what keeps you playing this video game, um, for whatever reason, whether it be log in, get whatever item, or grind, which is play enough, get the item you want, find new item, grind to get that item, find new item, grind to get that item. Game life loop is for a lot of people is go to work, do all the mundane things, driving, work, clean the house, taking care of this, that, and the next, family, whoever. Um, Make money on the side, go on vacation, wake up Monday morning after vacation, rinse, repeat. And it's like, okay, if you know that's the life loop, you can only go on vacation like so often a year. What else do you do between that? I'm having vacation that's really fun, that's really engaging you, that challenges you, that makes you wanna, that just makes you alive, makes you feel alive. You know, I try to challenge people to find that. I mean, for me, it's gaming. It don't have to be gaming. Gaming, because people, gaming is boring as shit to them. They think it's childish, maybe. I don't know, but it could be cinema. It could be music. It could be dancing. I was like, people say they love to dance, but they don't have a partner. I'm like, what? You love to dance? If your mate doesn't love to dance, I'm sure there's other people in the world that love to dance. Dancing, you don't have to dance with your spouse. As long as you love dancing, dance. Find a group of people that also love dancing, and y'all learn different dances, do dance, not clubs. That's probably something where people just get together and dance. I know someone was telling me about line dancing that a group of people do. You know, that's whether it be line dance and just tango, merengue, whatever. You know, if that's your passion, dancing's your passion, and your spouse doesn't love dancing, that shouldn't stop you from dancing. If my wife said, "Hey, I don't like scary movies," I'd be like, "Okay, so I'm gonna go watch this scary movie. I'll see when I get back. Or I'm gaming for while you're gone or while you're at the house or in my downtime or whatever after we're done hanging out. You know, I'm gaming. I'm going golfing. Oh, you don't like to golf? So I shouldn't golf? No, I'm going golfing. You know, I'm going fishing. I don't know. Pick your hobby, pick your passion, whether fixing cars, gun shows, cleaning, doing whatever you like to do. Just because your significant other doesn't do it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. If that's your passion, follow your passion. You know. I say all that to say, do you consider yourself dependent on technology? And I said, and I say I don't know, but I really lean toward more yes than I want, because part of my passion is gaming, and that's technology. And without technology, yeah, you know, I can live without it, because come on, I mean, I didn't grow up with a controller in my hand. I could live without it, but I might you know what? I might dependent on it. If I can live without it, then no, I'm not dependent on it. I'd rather have it than not have it, but I'm not dependent on it. I can function just fine without it. It's just I just have to find a new hobby. Sometimes easier said than done, but you know, maybe I'll challenge myself to do that, to find another hobby. I won't say it's kind of late for New Year's resolution, but I'll give it a shot. What technology do you most anticipate? I said Androids. Flying. It's easy to say flying cars because I hate driving 2 hours to and from work every flicking day. That is so mind-numbing to spend 4 hours of your 24 hours of the day just driving one direction. I wish I could say non-stop, but it's stop and go, stop and go, stop and go because it's traffic. Just to go work for 8 hours. Maybe you may or may not have lunch, depending on how busy it is, and besides the point. 8 hours, then drive back the other 2, then do the stuff that family people do, hang out with the kids, hang out with your wife, eat dinner together as a family, cook, do whatever you need to do, and then about 10 o'clock when all the kids are 9, 10 o'clock, the kids are settling down, they're going to bed. You say, okay, I'm hanging out, talking to significant other. Let you finally then do something that you want to do, maybe for about an hour. Any more than that, you're definitely losing sleep, because if you get 7 hours of sleep, that's it. I personally wake up like 5 o'clock, or 7 hours of sleep is, I gotta be in bed by 10. So kids don't really start settling down sometimes, so like 9 maybe, sometimes 9:30 when they push it, and then hey, how much time do you have to yourself? But I say flying. Oh, tangent. Sorry about that. Flying. I say I don't pick flying cars because I couldn't imagine a flying car failing and me falling. So no. I would like flying cars, but I'm not anticipating flying cars. Space tourism, like flying to Mars or the moon. It's a lot of planet Earth I haven't seen, so I don't need to go to the moon. No. Brink, and hell no. I'm not hooking. I thought about Matrix or some other shit like that. I'm like, nah, I'm good. My brain doesn't need to be connected to devices. So I mean, other thing is be Androids. Androids. That's ex-Android though. I'm just kidding. But Androids could help with life. Like to me, what I want Android for, a chauffeur. Nothing more. Just drive me to work so I don't have to sit there driving for 2 hours. That would make the, how do I put this? It's not slice of life. It's that'd improve my quality of life tremendous. Because there times when finally, work has ended, I had to drive home, and the drive home is so mind-numbing that when I get home, I just, your whole persona changes sometimes. Just like you don't even want to be bothered, you're irritated at that point because you just in stuck and go traffic, and everyone around you hasn't been. They've been just chilling. I'm like, man, y'all don't even know, So that just, to me, that changes sometimes. It just gets to me. It's like, man, I'm just beat just from the drive alone. Feels worse than working 8 hours. Not that I hate my job. I don't hate my job. I just kind of like my job. But it's just, it's more mentally draining sometimes than going to work. Than being at work is the drive home. Just because so an Android just to chauffeur me around would be a great. I don't really need an Android. Android to clean too. I mean, yeah. I guess. Well, then I always look like the people in this show. Android as a slave, and I ain't trying to have it like that. I just need someone to drive me to work every now and then, man. But I would, if anything else, when I get old, an Android to take care of me the way Marcus take care of his owner would be nice, and then have a real more of a personal relationship. And if the Android was self-aware and still wanted to be of service to me and be a friend and a confidant, then I'll be great as well. That's an obvious yes. What? Most of the world says no. Good God. Heathens! Oh my God. I'm just kidding. In this subject, to each their own. I believe, but if you don't believe, the religion that I believe in says that I should try to convert, or not maybe convert, but spread the word. But I don't technically really do that. If you don't believe, I can't force you to, and I'm not gonna force you to. To each his own. I'm very accepting of different people's beliefs or non-beliefs, and it's like it is what it is. Oh, that's okay. Word. I'm not gonna say we can't talk, we can't be friends. If you don't believe, then you just don't believe. It's what it is. I'm not gonna say something like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry for you. I feel." That's just. I'm better than you talking. I don't like when people do that, especially religious people. It's unnecessary. It's just okay. So we don't see eye to eye on this subject. What other subject do we see eye to eye on? What other, there's more to life and human interaction than religion. So just find something else, topic you can talk about, and move on with life. Would you let undertake care of your children? I said yes to that. That's me getting me lazy. Sometimes kids just aggravate me. Like, man, take care of it. In fact, that cook meals, sure. Tuck in bed, no. Obviously, I want to do that. Read. Help with homework. Android can do that. Shit, if I had to go back and do calculus, I might kick my hip, to be honest with you. But maybe smaller mundane things like that, But the stuff that you definitely want to be there for, changing diapers, help potty train, just playing with them, interacting with them. Of course not. How much time per day would you spend? I think I answered this already, but I'll just answer it again. I say more than 4 hours because I consider a console, electronic device. I consider being at work, if it's a computer screen, an electronic device. But if you want to say electronic device, something small like a cell phone. Sorry, no, I'm not on my cell phone 4 hours or more. I want to say yes because if the machine, if a machine were to malfunction, there should be fail safes in place where before that malfunction occurs, it just stops moving. Humans or people can have a bad day. People make mistakes. Just you eliminating chance. There's just so much human. There's too much human error in a lot of things, including I would include surgery. But people don't realize this. That also I read this and I was like, damn, I didn't realize it was so bad. The third leading cause of death is MD misdiagnosis, where they misdiagnose you and give you the wrong prescription or wrong, you know, everything, and people end up dying from that crap. But guess what? Third leading cause of death in America, nobody talks about it. Why would you tell people that doctors are misdiagnosing you enough of the times that it's the third leading cause of death? You're not gonna mention that, but you're gonna mention these random shootings, or not a quote unquote random, not really random, other things like car accidents and blah 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 blah. Name something that they triggers politicians and blah blah blah, but you ain't gonna mention MD because that's a big business, and we can't have people not going to the doctor because they're not going to the doctor. Then who's gonna pay these premiums and blah 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 blah. So it's what it is. Do you think Yes. I'm not even looking at what I'm gonna say for this one. Yeah, I say yes. And I want that to happen more than just yes. Do I think I want it to happen? Might help push technology even further. Never know. I said Kara. Why do people put Connor? That's so. Ugh. I think he's my least favorite. Kara or Marcus? Marcus just has some funny moments that you're free, giving air dap and shit like that and freeing people. That's just funny. But Kara, because it hit me more personal because I have a daughter, so her relationship with her daughter was more personal, and I could relate to that. That's my favorite character, and she's beautiful. Hey. Trade personally. Many moments. There's many moments from Kara's, with her daughter, with Alice, and even Marcus having to make these decisions to go against the grain, help his people, get them freedom, help work toward freedom without violence. Trying to convince the world that, hey, I'm not a slave, I'm alive. See me as don't see me as less than human. Because I mean, throughout history, I wouldn't say the majority, but whatever the social power at the time is, if they saw something as less than human, they enslaved it, and hence robots being enslaved. It used to be, people of color. I don't want to go down that route on the stream, but you get the point. So the fact that, that's almost like history repeating itself. It's just, I just wish, well, in the game they eventually got it, but it is what it is. I think I answered this one already, at least talked about it a little bit. I said pacifist or violence, but I just know I would always pick pacifist, so I really had to think about this one. The hardest choice. Nah, it's still that answer. It's still that answer, because I couldn't shoot Chloe no matter what. Or yeah, so it's still the same answer. Anyway, and that's the answer you had to face throughout the most of the game too. So there wasn't one defining choices. Many choices where you had to choose to be a pacifist over just the easy hit him in the face kind of deal, shoot him kind of deal, But again, thank you guys for watching. Like I'm not gonna replay this game right now. 13 streams and 1 bonus is pretty good. Sorry if this stream went a little long. I probably started maybe an hour in, so probably an hour and a half by now. But thanks for watching these videos with me. Another comment. So, let's see your comment. Hold on. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it, man. But I'm gonna be ending the stream pretty soon. But if you haven't watched all of them, which I think you have, you're pretty good sub. Appreciate the support. I really do. Go and check them out. There's some other streams that may not be as good as this game, but you know, if you want to check other content out that I have, definitely check it out. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button. I mean, if you join, you probably already have the notification button, so I appreciate that. But anyone else says, hey, if you're new to the channel, join, subscribe, hit the notification button for me. Well, I'm out of here. Peace. BZ1D.